Hey everyone, it is hard to believe that it is the end of May and Memorial Day weekend is coming up here, and we're very excited about what's going to happen. We're gonna remember those who have served our nation this weekend, so very excited about that. And then also we're going to continue in our series Finding Your Way Back to God. We have two Sundays left for that, and then we're going to launch into our series on the parables this summer. But speaking of this summer, it is June 21st, as you know, is the day that we have tentatively scheduled to go back into the building. And all of the reopening update is on our website. Hopefully you have seen that or know about that. We'll continue to update that as we can, but I want you to know that our ministry leaders right now are working so hard to prepare for when we reopen, and so that we're meeting weekly. We're investigating, researching all sorts of questions like how many services are we going to have, and how will we space out the auditorium, and what will cleaning look like. I can assure you that we are going to do everything we can possibly do to make sure that our building is a safe place for people to come to, and I want you to feel safe as you do come. How will guests be greeted now? What will communion look like? Will we be able to do baptisms? How will we continue our broadcast ministry? And many, many more questions. And so, we have great people, and they're putting in all sorts of time and energy and effort for our reopening, and it's very exciting. But our team, they get the credit. They're doing an amazing work, all of them, and we have great people in positions of leadership, and so they're doing an amazing job. There's two things that you can do to help, and I'm sure you're wondering, well, what can I do to help, right? Here's the first one. Number one of the things I'm concerned about in our culture is we are developing this polarization, almost like this judgmental attitude toward people who are doing things different than us. And so some people are ready to come back to church, some people are not, and that's okay. This polarization, it's turning political, it's turning into all sorts of things, and I just think as the church, like we are the church, and out of anybody in the world, we should be the ones to show grace and love to one another. And so that's what Christ has done for us. And I got thinking about this passage. Maybe you've heard it in Romans chapter 1 or 14, verse 1. Accept him whose faith is weak without passing judgment on disputable matters. One man's faith allows him to eat. Now, we're not talking about eating, but you get the idea, the principle. But another man whose faith is weak eats only vegetables. The man who eats everything must not look down on him who does not. And the man who does not eat everything must not condemn the man who does, for God has accepted him. Who are you to judge someone else's servant? To his own master he stands or falls, and he will stand, for the Lord is able to make him stand. One man considers one day more sacred than another. Another man considers every day alike. So you get the idea. As a church, we want to be the most gracious, loving, accepting people, supporting one another as we head into the future and the days ahead. We have great people. They're doing a lot of research to try to make sure that our church is a safe and a great place to be when we do gather. And if you choose not to gather on June 21st, that's okay too, because we're going to continue our broadcast online as well. Okay? Here's a second thing. There are ways to get involved in the days ahead. And number one, you can continue to pray. I hope you do pray for our church. I hope you pray for our church every day. I hope you pray for our leaders. We need it. It's been a busy time, so please continue to pray. Number two, you can be inviting people. The more you invite people, share the broadcast, share invites that we have through social media, and like things, the more exposure we get, and the more people are reached with the gospel. Your support, number three, is really important. And so thank you so much for your continued support for our church. As we've said all along, 10% of all of our offerings through the end of May is going back to help people with fighting COVID. We're making gift baskets. We're making masks. We're helping people in need as best as we can to the situations that they find themselves in. And then the fourth thing is volunteering. You know, we are going to be opening back up, and God has used even the broadcast ministry itself has been a huge thing. There's been over or close to 3,000, I don't have the exact numbers, of devices over the last couple months that have been seeing our broadcast, and even within that there's multiple people per device probably, and so we're looking at, you know, we're going to be needing to add more sound people, tech operators and media operators, some technical people who can help run the broadcast ministry. And it is a ministry. And so, you know, there's all sorts of settings and different things that are far beyond what I know how to do, and many of you know how to do, but some of you do know how to do that, and maybe you could help out in that. You know, guitar and worship, playing drums or bass or whatever it is. You know, we are going to have needs in the days ahead. So listen, God is doing a great work. He is good. He is on his throne. He is sovereign. He still loves us, and we are going to continue to carry on. Amy Depry just told me that 98 families currently are interested in Vacation Bible School coming up in the middle of June, a virtual Vacation Bible School. 98 families. That's amazing. And so as we go into the future, guys, let's be gracious to one another. The days ahead, let's trust God along the way. Continue to pray for God to do his work. He's doing an amazing work. And thank you for being a part of our church, and thank you for how God is using each of us as we prepare for the days ahead. So we'll see you this Sunday. 8:45 is when Journey Kids starts. 10:10 is when we start to go live, and then 10:30 is our broadcast. We'll see you then.